And regardless, I don't know if they show up or not. All right. So for this one, we're going to factor completely. It equals 0. So we're going to factor this side completely before ever dealing with the 0. So in common between 2x to the 5th, negative 12x to the 3rd, and 16x. Nate, what number is in common? 2. Good. And Shabo, how many? X to the 1 power. Good. I'm happy to go over homework after I finish my lesson, okay? Because it's just more practice anyway. That's fine. You have till the test day. So whenever I normally do homework. Yeah, no, that's why I'm okay with it. So I'm going to divide each one by 2x. So I'm reducing or I'm taking out the stuff here. So 2x to the, so what's going to be here? X to the 4th minus 6x squared. Yes. It's actually this whole one huge section, 2.4. Plus 8 equals 0. Again, we're not dealing with the 0 until we're completely done with the left side. Okay. Now, we are able to do that, what multiplies to C and that adds to B method, if this is double the middle. Is 4 twice as much as 2? Yeah, so we're able to do it. So what multiplies to 8 that adds to negative 6 though? 2 and 4 adds to positive 6. Good. So negative 2 and negative 4, which adds to negative 6, but multiplies to positive 8. So I'm going to rewrite this part. May I move just this? Oh, wait, okay. I'm going to rewrite just this as 2x, x squared minus 2, and x squared minus 4 equals 0. We have to keep checking things and keep going. Get away. So we got to keep checking. 2x. Are we able to do anything with that? X squared minus 2. Are we able to do anything with that? This is a perfect square, but neg 2 is not perfect square, so we can't do anything. X squared minus 4. Are we able to do something with that? Yeah. And what is it, Eliana? Good. It's called the difference of squares. So I can split this into 2 pieces. So 2, I'm happy. X squared minus 2 over here. X plus 2, x minus 2 equals 0. And then let's do a quick check. 2x can't do anything. X squared minus 2 can't do anything. X plus 2 can't do anything. X minus 2 can't do anything. Okay? No, now we're ready to start the actual part with the 0.
Mr. Tobal, is this like a new lesson?
Yes. Well, actually, this part you just joined in is the new part of the lesson. What I just did is all factoring completely, which we practiced yesterday.
Did I miss notes on that? Like, did you guys write notes on that?
I recorded it, so I'll post it later for you guys.
All right.
This is 2.4, I believe. It might be 2.3, but I think it's 2.4. So here, what we're going to do, because it equals 0, and Nate, if I multiply anything with 0, what does it become? 0. So what I'm going to do is split each piece here, because if I'm able to make this part 0, it would make the whole thing 0. If I'm splitting this, make this 0, it makes the whole thing 0. I have to check with you, I'm not sure. So we're gonna solve for each one. 2x equals 0.
Sorry, I
X,
was finishing a test.
that's fine. X squared minus 2 equals 0. X plus 2 equals 0. And x minus 2 equals 0. So you're solving multiple answers here. They're all going to separately be equals 0. Okay? I'm going to rewrite everything here, okay? So it's going to be, let me put this here. I'll do one piece at a time. So part 1, 2x equals 0. What would I do to both sides to get x by itself? Divided by 2. 0 divided by 2 is still 0. X equals 0 is one of your answers.
Wait, I need to question.
Yeah.
Mr. Tobal, could you scroll up a little just so I could take a picture of the notes before this? Or was this only what you did so far?
This is the only thing I did so far.
Okay.
Mr. Tawal, what does it say in red, like on the first thing?
Let me answer Shavaka. What did I do in the black here? Right here, I was asking.
Yeah. Did you divide? Why is there no x next to that 8?
Here, I took out from here to here, I divided 2x out. I factored it out.
Yeah. So 16 divided by 2, 16x divided by 2x would be 8.
No, hey, just 8 because x divided by x would cancel out.
Okay, so then why?
So from red to black.
You do
Oh, okay.
x like divide by x squared.
Here, like inside these parentheses, in the red.
Yeah.
This one does not have an x squared. Everyone has to have it in common, not just 2 of the 3.
Oh, so you're just dividing by 2.
No, so so I'm divided by 2 from the original black to the red, I divided 2x. So then I'm left with this, x4 minus 6x squared plus 8. From there, then I'm going to use old factoring. Remember like what multiplies a c and adds a b? So that's what I did here in the black, which resulted in x squared minus 2, x squared plus 4, or x squared, minus 4. And you remember, now remember, we talked about this yesterday. If this is half of that, or I'm sorry, if this is double that, you could say, you're late to do it. If it was like 10 and 7, you want to be able to do it. You remember we kind of talked about that yesterday? Like if this was x to the 10 and x to the 7, you want to be able to do what I just did. You will have to stop.
I thought the 3 root. The cubed root, that's what it's called.
The cubed root?
Yeah.
No, remember, cube root would mean it has to be x cubed, so to the 3rd power. This is x to the 4th power, so it wouldn't work. But let me continue. Here is the square, if that's what you may be thinking. In here with the green arrows, it becomes x plus 2, x minus 2. Come on, what part are you confused at? And I'm going to answer questions from the Zoom after.
Okay, a lot, so I'm gonna go one by one.
All right.
First. Oh wait, never mind. Okay, I got the first part.
Good. Okay, do you get from red to the black here?
Yeah.
Okay, do you get from this black to this black on the bottom?
No.
All right, so this one stayed normal, so that stayed normal. This one stayed normal.
Wait, Mr. Tawal, what does it
Oh,
say
okay.
in red in the first?
Oh, okay, good question. Why is everything equal 0? Originally, the question was equal 0, right? Now, Kamala, I'm going to ask you, 0 times anything becomes what? 0. So if I were to make, yeah, because I'm answering questions. If this one right here was 0, then it would make the whole thing 0. So I'm going to figure out what would just make this thing 0, or what would make this thing just 0, or what would make this thing just 0. So I'm breaking up into pieces so I can figure out what would be my answer. So I'm doing that in color. So here I'm doing x squared minus 2 equals 0. I'm going to do plus 2 on both sides. So x squared equals 2. Now I don't like having x squared, so what can I do to both sides? Square root.
So wait, so you do that, you do everything.
Mr. Joel, can you just read what you
For
wrote?
all the
in red?
pieces, yes. For all the parentheses.
Oh my word.
Not that much because you'll see 3 and 4 is easy. Wait a second, I gotta answer.
2x minus 2 is x squared minus 4. You just split up x squared.
Yeah.
minus
Mr. Joel, it's such a simple question. I just can't read what you wrote.
Which part?
The red under the 2x.
2x here? I rewrote it here. So everything I'm rewriting here. So it's 2x equals 0. Everything is, I rewrote everything with 0 equals 0.
Wait, but you can't square root -2.
You're right. So it's positive 2, no?
No.
Which one? Number 3?
No. Okay, so after we got x squared minus 4 after we split that up,
Mm-hmm.
parentheses right in front of those guys.
This one right here.
No.
This one right here. Okay. So you have the plus 2 on both sides, right?
Yeah.
So it's a positive, not a negative 2.
No, it's not. That's a minus.
0 plus 2 is?
No, but like, look.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Tobal, you're recording this, right?
Yes.
So that means negative.
You're right, but we set it equal to 0. So it's x squared minus 2 equals 0. If I'm trying to get x by itself, what would I do to the negative 2 on both sides? Yeah. Which I did in the green over there. Yeah. I'm trying to rewrite it here because there's not enough space in the here. By the way, guys, I'm doing it like quadrants like this. You don't need to rewrite it like that. It's just that my text was too small, so I want to make sure it's clear. You don't have to rewrite it like this quadrant 4-corner thing.
Well, he died, so see how that works for him. How do I make it clear to my future self that I added?
Do plus 2 on both sides. Like literally plus 2 right here.
This is so colorful, but 2 is not a square.
That's fine. So your answer is going to be in a square root.
I'm so.
That's okay.
I mean, I'm not confused. I just like feel like
I know it's a lot of information.
Doing everything, but I can't like do it myself.
Mariah, I think I'm going to answer your question. Yeah, I'm recording. I think that's the question. No. Nor that would really help you. You need to actually practice this. It's more of applying it than equation.
I need steps.
Most likely, I'm going to give you the equations on the
Steps on
Google
my
Class. I don't know.
Yeah, can you-
Not steps. No, steps you need to know.
Wait, wait, wait.
I might give you, I'll ask if I could give equations, but honestly, don't depend on it.
What do you mean equations? Like, what is there to do?
Like the different, I'll show you later. I'll show you
Hold
later.
on. Turn on my hand. So what happens to
I don't
2x?
want you to do that. What's up?
Turn it on the board and you see nothing.
2x? You said
Why is there no 2x?
that was in section 1. 2x equals 0. I divided 2 on both sides. So x equals 0. That's all. 2x is his own guy, so he gets his own piece too.
Stop doing things with
With the
I don't know what it's called, with the 8 and the 2 and the 4.
the factory? No, you gotta practice that.
So 2x equals.
And that's easy. You
No,
guys
I
do
know,
it.
it bothers me.
I don't know what to say then.
And I forget to do it.
You should notice here, I can't set this equal to 0. What am I pointing? Right here. You can't set that equal to 0 and figure that out. So like you have to figure out, you have to think in your mind, Carmela, I probably have to do more. And at that point,
2 squared minus 4, which is then 0, right? Then x, then 2, right, no. Hold on.
Uh-huh.
Wait, why did you just decide that x squared equals square root of anything but this one?
if it's x squared, what can you do to both sides to get rid of that squared?
Wait, sorry.
It's x squared. So what can you do to both sides to get rid of the square right here?
Square root.
So that's what I did.
Why'd you decide to do anything?
What's up?
Why'd you say that is equal to?
I started from here, x squared minus 2 equals 0, plus 2 on both sides, so I had x squared equals 2. That's probably a good move.
I really don't know this. So
Noted.
x plus 2 equals 0. We did essay instead of it. Wait, why'd you do x plus 2?
Are you gonna do better if it was essay?
Yeah.
Sally, no.
Oh, I see what you're doing. Okay, so I divide by 2 on both sides.
Anyone on Zoom have any questions on this? I'm happy to answer it. What happened
Yeah,
here on
it's
the
so
left?
complicated.
I know.
And I don't understand it.
Oh,
At
what
all.
part? At all?
Not even
Same.
close to understanding it.
Same.
All right. So
Never
from
on stage.
we'll do another problem then.
Wait, so,
Keep going. Let's stare it.
so 2x equals 0
I just see a bunch of things and I'm like, what the heck?
and x plus, and then I'm still left with x squared. That's 0. And then, okay. I'm left with
Yeah,
x
did she get
squared
lost?
minus 2.
Where she said she going?
Yeah, she actually disappeared. And then x squared minus 2. Wait, hold on. Okay, so what do you do once you get all those things?
Like 1, 2, 3, 4? You're done. You found every X. Just circle them and you're happy.
You don't have to do anything.
Unless you want to put it in one picture, like X equals 0, comma 2, comma negative 2, comma, but no. I'm happy with this.
Is it, if you get, wait, hold on.
Well, the colors are so much more vibrant on TV than on the screen. What's up?
If you, wait,
Go ahead.
it's never gonna be a positive, like, square root, so you can make x square root, right?
What do you mean by that? Like, it can never be,
Plus or minus square root of 2.
yeah.
What if it's like,
Let's say it started off X squared plus 2, or
oh,
that,
yeah.
then you would subtract 2 and you have imaginary? Or,
What if it's like x squared plus, like,
Plus-
plus like 25?
okay, so then you do, if you did plus 25, right?
Yeah.
Minus 25 on both sides. So you have X squared minus 25 equals negative 25. I'm sorry.
You would never have to square root it.
You would square root it, but what kind of number would it be if you have a negative inside a square root?
Well, they won't be. What?
Think about it. What kind of square root would it be? It would be an imaginary. Does that sound familiar? So it would be an imaginary. So it would be not just 5, Carmela, it'll be 5i.
Please don't do that.
I'll try not
Okay,
to.
wait, why is there a step 4 if I already got what x equals and why
Oh,
does
no,
x
no, no.
not equal? You know what I mean?
What's step 4? The purple?
Yeah.
That you have to do it for each section. So the 2x gets its own math. X squared minus 2 gets its own math. X plus 2 gets its own math. X minus 2 gets its own math.
Like not in English, not in math.
Uh,
Why is, if x equals positive and negative square root of 2, why does x equals 2? Because 2 is not square root.
oh. In these questions, Sheva, you have multiple numbers that could cause it to be 0. So you have multiple answers. So every answer is, I'm sorry, all your answers are 0, 2, negative 2, square root, and positive negative root 2.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. Mom, this is not funny. There's no way I'm staying. Are we done?
I'm ready to do the next one, but I don't know if everyone else is ready. We got to do it, so
No, no,
faster.
we will. I just need time to process.
Okay.
I thought we did.
What?
Okay, I give you permission now.
Thank you, Carmela.
Sheva doesn't. My coffee's ready right now. The last year for doing it. It's on now? Positive, negative. No, it says on now. And then so, no, it says on now. They're
So these,
So then I do x. So
No, here's my
since
tummy.
x equals positive negative square root of 2, I do 1 time positive and 1 time negative.
yeah,
So I do x
I really wish.
equals positive square root 2 and x equals negative square root.
yeah. If I were to line up all my answers, it'd be 0, plus root 2, negative root 2. We have a positive 2 over here in purple and negative 2 over here. This would be all your answers. I think that's what you were asking. Yeah, it's all these numbers. Okay, dokie. Let's start the next one.
I don't remember getting zero.
Oh, so
I don't
wait,
remember getting.
what's that?
Oh, because then I have.
What's the red?
It's just me putting them all in one place. You don't need to do that. You can just leave them circled. All right, now,
Wait, why are we not talking about the fact that you gave us a lot of homework last night?
why not?
Then why?
So this is what.
Eliana, how much homework you got tonight over there?
Over there? Like
3 to 49.
3 to 49. And what did I give you?
Okay, you usually give us like 1 to 3 odd. Last night you gave us like,
I gave you like 6 questions.
no. It wasn't odd or even. It was like
Yeah, it was still 6 questions though.
I'm gonna show you.
Okay.
I did like 5. Okay, wait, I
Hey,
did
that's pretty good.
3, 4, 5, 6.
Is that
I did
it?
7, so it wasn't 6 questions. Yeah, 24 to 49.
That's not six
That makes
questions. I
sense.
think you're wrong on
So
that.
these are
Yeah.
two, this is the same thing though, right? Here and here, because you kept going and then you square root. So this is 1, this is 1, this is 1, and then your 0 is 1 over here.
T-Dog,
You don't have to
24.
rewrite this one though, because this is redundant. Because you show it here. X squared equals 2, x
That's
equals,
square root.
yeah, but this is x squared, so x is not by itself. So this one wouldn't count, but this
Yeah,
one
yeah,
does.
yeah, but like that's how I
T-Dog,
Yeah, that's right.
24 to 49. That's
But
not
if I
6
write that on a
questions.
test, will you give me full credit?
Hmm.
Oh, look, I'm gonna show you.
If I wrote 24 or 49, that might have been a mistake.
Look, I did 24 to 29,
That might have been what I meant.
and I got
Yeah,
four right.
Mr. Tobal, you wrote 2449. I literally almost exploded.
Yeah,
I
look.
only got 7 problems done.
Let me look at the page.
48. We actually got like 40 problems tonight.
Could you read me that
We're in
problem?
CP. We are in.
But look, after 29, we didn't learn this.
Oh, now
Yeah,
you're
I
my
think I meant
brain.
29.
Well, I did after 29, so
Perfect.
So what?
My guys, my bad. It was 29, not 49. That's why you said
I
40.
didn't do it.
Lucky dog. Well, Carmela, honestly, that's going to be your homework for tonight/future. So the next set of problems. So
Would it be odds though?
yes, that's fine. But let's go to this problem. Where's my mouse? Okay. So finally, we're ready to do the second problem. 48x to the 5th equals 27x to the 3rd. You know what? I'm putting this on a new page just so I have space. Okay. Now, let's do this. I need to be, before I can do anything, ooh, you guys are good. But before I do anything, I need it to be equal to 0. So how can I move this over here?
Subtract it to the other side.
How can I move it to the other side? With
Subtraction.
not add, but go
Division.
for and Eliana and subtract. So it is. So I subtract 22nd x third negative 27 x third. So I'm gonna rewrite it as 48 x to the 5th minus 27 x to the 3rd equals 0. The reason is I'm subtracting it is because I want to make it 0. If I divided it, technically that would change it to a 1. That's not my goal. I'm trying to change it to a 0.
Would you recognize my handwriting?
So now I
Mr.
divide
Jamal, would you
by.
recognize my handwriting?
Now, Sheva, say it again.
Now I divide by.
Wait, why did you make it equal 0?
To the third.
X to the 3rd for sure, and Eliana's or
Did I do 3x somewhere?
9. You could put 9 in there. Actually, yeah, you could put
9?
no 48. 9 doesn't go into 48. So I think 3 is actually correct. Good catch, Sheva. Okay. So we have 3x to the 3rd. What's up? Come on. I know, right? Whoa.
Why'd you make it equal 0?
Before we could do anything, it has to equal 0. In the
Make
pre,
it equal 0.
yeah, just make it equal 0. And you have to do you following rules. You can't just rewrite it. You got to do subtract. Good. So x squared, but what's the number? 48 divided by 3?
8, what? No, 16.
16.
Wait, what did you do on top?
Ooh, right here? I just subtracted 27x cubed. I can't just make it equal 0. I have to do math to make it 0. You know, that will change the question. Minus 27 divided by 3? 9. X to the thirds cancel out, so it's just 9. Equals 0. Okay, again, you're going to have to check each piece to see if you're done. 3x to the cube.
No, they're both.
Good. But here,
Or x squared and 3.
good. And let me talk it for everyone else. Here, 16x squared is 16 a perfect square. Good. I just want to make sure everyone's on the same page. Kamala.
You get rid of square.
16 is a perfect square. 4 times 4. X squared is a perfect square. X times x. And 9 is a perfect square. 3 times 3. So Nate, how are you going to rewrite this if it's perfect squares? All right.
Wait,
How are
Mr.
you going to write it,
Terrell.
Nate? Give me a second. What's the square root of 16? 4. And then Nate, what's the square root of 9? 3. So you're going to be 4x plus 3, 4x minus 3. Okay? I heard this question from Zoom. Go ahead.
Yeah, you got 3x because that's the biggest factor.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
3x cubed, right? Yeah. Now, again, do a check. 3x cubed, there you can't do anything. 4x plus 3. While 4 is a perfect cube, x is not a perfect cube, nor 3 is not a perfect cube.
Make 4 too.
That's true, but can you make 3 into anything? No, so that's why you just stop right there. Okay? You need the both to be reducible, okay?
Wait,
So,
why
because
do
in
you put
this,
a negative in front of the 3 and not the 4?
the negative in front of the 3 here,
Yeah, like, you know how you have to do like plus or minus? Why isn't there
Yeah.
plus or minus for the 4?
the first term doesn't get the plus and minus. It's the second term, because this one is the negative, -9.
But
So
if it
it's
was
technically-
positive, you'd still do that, right?
If positive, you can't do anything because that's not a sum of squares. It's only a difference of squares.
Okay.
So it only works if it's a minus. All right, so because we cannot simplify any part anymore, we split it up and set each one equal to 0. So 3x cubed equals 0. 4x plus 3 equals 0. And then 4x minus 3 equals 0. Because we cannot reduce it anymore, I'm now cutting it into the pieces and setting each part equal 0, which is why in the beginning is important to equal 0. You cannot make it equal 10, 100, or equal 2. It has to be equal 0. Because you have to tell me what is the x value. What number can I plug in to make it 0?
She was like, please don't post that. I like, I'm so sorry. Please don't post that. After this time, chat event, you get like 5 likes. And then it's like 3,000 views. And you're doing millions.
So then, what up, Kamala? Kamala, let's finish this problem, so then I'll let you chill. So divided by 3, x cubed, or 3 divided by 3 cancels out. 0 divided by 3 is still 0. Now, I'm going to do the cube root of 3. Does anyone want to guess what the cube root of 0 is? 0.
0.
So x equals 0 is one of your answers. I'll do the second part here. So then I have 4x plus 3 equals 0. Carmela, what would you do here? 4x plus 3 equals 0 to solve for x? Minus 3, yeah. So 4x equals -3. Then what? Divide by 4. So x equals -3 over 4. Next one. 4x minus 3 equals 0. Very similar. Ella, what would I do to solve for this one?
Do I have to divide?
Yeah,
When?
when you're trying to get something away from the x. So in this case, 4.
But it already equals 0, so no.
Let me look at your question. Before I do 4 divided by 4,
Look, what do I?
plus 3 plus 3.
Oh.
So 4x equals 3. And then what? Then say it. Go ahead. Oh, you can say it though. You said it earlier. Yeah, so divided by 4, x equals 3/4. So your answers are 0, -3/4, and +3/4. Guys on Zoom, I assume you were occupied taking the test. So I